WWE thought the rebellion was finished. They thought the era was dead. They believed they had tamed the chaos, silenced the dissent, but one sound. One single, earth-shaking, defiant sound changed everything. It echoed through arenas, through homes, through the very soul of sports entertainment. And in that moment, when the glass shattered, America didn't just stand up. America roared. The control was lost. The world would never be the same. Before the glass shattered, before the chaos truly erupted, there was a simmering discontent, a restless energy building beneath the polished surface of the WWE. The late 90s were a fascinating, volatile time for professional wrestling. The once family-friendly, colorful spectacle of the Hulk Hogan era was beginning to feel. Stale audiences, particularly the crucial young male demographic, were growing tired of the predictability, the clear-cut good versus evil narratives. They craved something darker, edgier, something that reflected the changing cultural landscape. The rival WCW, with its NWO storyline, had tapped into this hunger, presenting a gritty, anti-establishment faction that felt dangerous, real, and unpredictable. We, then still known as WWF, was in a desperate fight for survival, hemorrhaging viewers and revenue. The pressure backstage was immense. Vince McMahon, a visionary but also a man known for his iron grip on creative control, was facing an unprecedented challenge to his dominance. The locker room itself was a powder keg. Veterans, feeling their spots threatened, clashed with hungry newcomers eager to make their mark. Stories of backstage politicking, bruised egos, and intense rivalries were rampant. Bret Hart, a traditionalist, openly bristled at the direction the company was taking. Especially the rise of certain performers he felt lacked the respect for the craft. Shawn Michaels, a prodigious talent, was also a polarizing figure, his backstage influence and sometimes volatile temperament adding to the already tense atmosphere. These personal animosities often spilled into legitimate, unscripted moments of aggression, blurring the lines between sports, entertainment, and genuine animosity. The audience, savvy and hungry for authenticity, could sense this tension. They were tired of the saccharine storylines and wanted something that felt more immediate, more dangerous. They wanted a hero, or perhaps an anti-hero, who didn't play by the rules, who defied authority, who spoke to their own frustrations with the status quo. They wanted someone who would shatter the glass ceiling, metaphorically speaking, of what wrestling could be. Little did they know that shattering would soon become literal, ushering in an era of unprecedented rebellion and a loss of control that would redefine the industry forever. Do you remember feeling that shift? Let me know in the comments below what you thought of wrestling during this era. In this volatile environment, a new breed of superstar was desperately needed, someone to ignite the spark into a raging inferno. And then, from the depths of a mid-card role, a transformation began. Steve Williams, once known as the Ringmaster, a technically proficient but somewhat generic wrestler, shed his skin. He adopted a new persona, one that was rugged, rebellious, and unapologetically aggressive. He became Stone Cold Steve Austin. It wasn't just a change of name, it was a seismic shift in attitude. Austin didn't smile, he snarled. He didn't ask for respect. He demanded it, often through violence. He embodied the frustrations of the everyday man, the blue-collar anti-hero who took no guff from anyone, especially not authority figures. His rise was organic, fueled by a single, iconic moment at the 1996 King of the Ring. After defeating Jake the Snake Roberts, Austin delivered his infamous Austin 3:16 speech, a blasphemous, defiant sermon that instantly resonated with a disaffected audience. It was raw, unscripted, and perfectly encapsulated the burgeoning Attitude Era. Backstage, this new character was both a blessing and a curse. While ratings slowly began to tick up, Austin's refusal to conform caused legitimate headaches for management. He wasn't just playing a rebel, he was a rebel. His clashes with Vince McMahon, both on and off screen, were legendary. McMahon, ever the astute businessman, recognized the undeniable appeal of Austin's anti-authority stance, even as it directly challenged his own carefully constructed image of control. He made the brilliant, if risky, decision to lean into it, transforming himself into the tyrannical Mr. McMahon, the evil boss against whom Austin could rail. This dynamic became the cornerstone of the era, the ultimate power struggle that captivated millions. The emotional tension was palpable, a constant tightrope walk between legitimate animosity and brilliant storytelling. Every stunner Austin delivered to McMahon felt like a victory for the working man, a blow against corporate oppression. It was a storyline that transcended wrestling, mirroring real-world class struggles and societal frustrations. What was your favorite Stone Cold moment? Share it with us. Your comments help ring legends grow. The stage was set, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. The feud between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon had reached a fever pitch, becoming the hottest rivalry in sports entertainment history. The audience was fully invested, craving the next confrontation, the next moment of defiance. They didn't just want to see Austin win, they wanted to see him humiliate McMahon, dismantle his carefully constructed empire piece by piece. And then it happened. The sound that would forever be etched into the annals of professional wrestling. A sound that transcended a mere entrance theme to become a battle cry for an entire generation. That unmistakable, violent crash of glass. It wasn't just a sound cue. It was a signal, a warning, a promise of impending chaos. The moment the glass shattered, the arena erupted. It was an involuntary, visceral response, a primal scream from thousands of fans who knew exactly what was coming. The lights would dim, the heavy guitar riff of his theme music would blare, and Austin would stride out his signature swagger, his middle fingers often extended, a smirk on his face that said, "I'm here to raise hell, and there's nothing you can do about it." This entrance wasn't just a walk to the ring, it was a cultural phenomenon. It symbolized rebellion, freedom, and the ultimate rejection of authority. Every shocking move Austin executed, every stunner delivered to an unsuspecting corporate stooge was met with rapturous applause. The rivalries he forged with McMahon, with The Rock, with Triple H were not just matches. They were epic sagas of power, betrayal, and unadulterated aggression. The emotional tension in these feuds was off the charts. You could feel the genuine animosity, the desire to truly dominate and dismantle the opponent. These weren't always clean, technical wrestling matches. They were brawls, street fights, often spilling into the crowd, utilizing every prop and weapon imaginable. The WWE had lost control, not in a literal sense of the booking, but in the sense that Austin's character had become so powerful, so resonant, that it dictated the very energy of the show. The audience was no longer passively watching. They were actively participating, living vicariously through the anti-hero who dared to challenge the establishment. Hit that like button if the sound of glass shattering still gives you chills. Once the glass shattered and the spirit of rebellion was unleashed, there was no turning back. WWE, whether they fully intended to or not, had stumbled upon a formula for unprecedented success. But it came at the cost of their traditional image of control. The Attitude Era wasn't just about Stone Cold. It was a complete overhaul of the product. The violence intensified, storylines became edgier and more mature, and characters pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable on television. No longer confined by the strict PG ratings, WWE embraced a more adult-oriented approach. This shift wasn't without its critics, but it resonated with an audience hungry for something raw and authentic. Backstage drama during this period was legendary. The lines between kayfabe and reality were constantly blurred, fueling rumors and speculation. Wrestlers pushed themselves to their physical and mental limits, striving to keep pace with the relentless demand for shocking moments and unforgettable performances. The rivalries became personal, often blurring the lines of what was scripted and what was genuine animosity. The Rock, Triple H, Mankind, Kane, all these superstars rose to prominence in an environment where pushing the envelope was not just encouraged, but demanded. Their shocking moves and innovative approaches to storytelling captivated audiences. We saw incredible risks being taken, high-flying maneuvers, and brutal brawls that left both wrestlers and fans breathless. The emotional tension was constantly ratcheted up, with betrayal, redemption, and revenge being common themes. The narratives were complex, often involving multiple intertwining storylines, making every episode of Raw and SmackDown a must-watch event. Vince McMahon, despite portraying the tyrannical boss, was a genius in his willingness to adapt and, paradoxically, cede a certain level of creative freedom to his top stars, allowing their personalities to shine through and connect directly with the audience. This era cemented WWE's place as a global entertainment powerhouse, proving that sometimes losing control can lead to ultimate victory. What was the most shocking moment you remember from the Attitude Era? Drop your memories in the comments. The Attitude Era, sparked by the shattering glass and fueled by a fervent rebellion, couldn't last forever. Like all eras, it eventually gave way to new trends, new superstars, and a new direction for the company. But its impact, its enduring legacy, continues to resonate within the halls of professional wrestling and beyond. The lessons learned from that period of lost control were invaluable. WWE learned that audiences crave authenticity, that they appreciate characters who defy the norm, and that sometimes the most compelling stories arise from breaking free of traditional constraints. The era proved that wrestling could be more than just a sport. It could be a dramatic, cinematic, and deeply engaging form of adult entertainment. The superstars who defined this era, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, Mick Foley, became global icons, transcending the wrestling world to become household names. Their larger-than-life personas and unforgettable performances etched them into pop culture history. Even today, echoes of the Attitude Era can be seen in wrestling. The grittiness, the emphasis on character development, and the willingness to push boundaries are direct descendants of that rebellious period. While WWE has since shifted back to a more family-friendly PG rating, the DNA of the Attitude Era remains. It taught the company that true control isn't always about rigid adherence to a script, but about understanding the audience's desires and sometimes letting chaos reign. The financial success and unprecedented viewership numbers from this period cemented WWE as a global juggernaut, capable of adapting and innovating in the face of intense competition. The glass shattered, control was lost, and in that magnificent explosion of defiance, WWE found its truest, most compelling voice. It was a time when wrestling wasn't just entertainment, it was a phenomenon, a rebellion, a cultural moment that forever changed the game. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please share this video with fellow wrestling fans. Subscribe to Ring Legends for more untold stories. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next epic journey into the world of WWE. Thank you for watching. Ring Legends out.